Hi, Mark Tagna here, and welcome to my channel. I have been meaning to do this video for about a month and a half now, and that video is how to winterize and get the soil ready for winter in the greenhouse. But the thing is, the weather has been so great here in Colorado Springs. It is actually December 11th. It is 80 degrees in the greenhouse, and it's about 65 degrees outside. However, we've been in the middle of a huge drought. Anyway, finally, the tomatoes bit the dust. I've been waiting for them to go, and we had a few cold nights, like 10 degrees, 0 degrees, and that little heater, my Palma heater, just couldn't keep up with the coldness. So the tomatoes finally went kaput. So here I am, ready to winterize the greenhouse. Let's get started. The worst thing that you can do to your garden is neglect the soil. I built this greenhouse this past season, and brand new soil. Yeah, the soil, it could last for another season, maybe 2 seasons, but basically what's going to happen is if I neglect it, it's going to be a breeding ground for insects and fungus and blight and powdery mildew, things like that. It's gonna sit here, and the nutrients and the minerals, they're just going to slowly fade away, and you need to do something about that to avoid getting all those funguses and things like that in your soil over the winter, and to keep the nutrients and the minerals going. There's so many different amendments that you can buy for your organic garden, like kelp and humic acid. There's also worm castings, things like that. You can go online and find a plethora of stuff. But what I want to show you is something not so much say more natural, but a bit less expensive. You spent so much money on your greenhouse so far. Spending a few $100s or $100 on these kind of soil amendments is just makes you shiver a little bit inside, right? So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Instead of running out and buying a bunch of amendments, what I'm going to do is what I did to my garden outside. I turned the soil, and then I went out in the yard and I raked up a bunch of leaves, and I dumped a lot of leaves on the soil. The leaves have so much nutrition and organic matter that they're going to break down over the winter months and feed the soil. And it's going to be wonderful. And I'm going to turn the soil, and what you do is you dig in and you just flip it. You turn it just a few inches down, and you don't break it up or anything like that. And the reason is you want it nice and clumpy so air can get down in between those cracks and water can drizzle down. The water is going to break the leaves down, and all that's going to sink down in. And then at the very beginning of your season next year, then you can go through and till your soil and make it nice and smooth. But leave it nice and clumpy. I know the big question that you're asking is, Mark, you're in a greenhouse, you're going to turn the soil, you're going to put leaves down. How's water going to get in to break everything down? Well, that's simple. I know that it's not going to rain in the greenhouse. I'm going to have to come out here religiously once every 1 or 2 weeks on the weekend and dump water all over the place. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're going to get started cleaning up the greenhouse. Okay, I just got all the watering lines put away and everything cleaned up, the dead tomato plants pulled up, and they're gonna go out to compost, and I'm gonna go ahead and start turning the soil. I think you saw when I did it earlier, this soil is so dry. I mean, we haven't watered it in over a month, and It hasn't rained here. It hasn't done anything here. So everything is super, super dry. I'm going to do the best I can to turn it. I'm going to put some leaves over it, and that should do it. What a workout. Just turned all the soil. Now I'm going to put the leaves on it. So I think of it this way. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and the woods were always so lush, especially around spring. After this, the leaves would fall in the fall and would sit all winter and snow, and then it would rain, and in the springtime so much would come up in the woods. It was magnificent. So if the leaves are able to do that in the woods, why couldn't it do that in your garden, right? I'm gonna go get some water, wet all this down. I'll be right back. What I am going to do is leave these windows open this winter, and I'm gonna leave the front door at least cracked a foot or so. That way air can blow through and air can get into the soil, and the leaves help everything break down a little bit more. If I didn't do that, it would stay really stagnant in here, and I don't think that's a good idea for what I'm trying to achieve. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I really appreciate it. We're heading into wintertime, so I'm going to be hard pressed to figure out what kind of videos to make for the Climapod. So please, if you have any suggestions, put it in the comments section. I'd really appreciate it. In the meantime, my wife and I love to cook, and we do have a cooking channel, so make sure to check that out and maybe subscribe. I think you're gonna really love it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell for future notifications.